Now it's time to begin actual construction. And right now I've just scored up the outer edge of the right side of the base. I used a plastic fork. You can use a toothpick, a unraveled paper clip, whatever works. And also, in class you'll have some different supplies. Check for any cracks and hairline fractures. As your clay becomes leather hard, it goes from plastic to leather hard, you might notice some cracks develop, especially as you're bending walls in the event that you have a curvy wall like I do. Okay, some of you will have geometric walls, and so that won't be an issue. But when you bend and curve walls over and over, sometimes that stress shows up in the clay. So now I'm scoring up the bottom of my first sidewall. I've already scored up the base, as you can see, and now I'm scoring up the bottom of the sidewall. I've got some slip handy, which is both chunky and watery. I kind of prefer my slip watery anyhow. I like how it absorbs into the clay like watery glue. So I'm painting my slip over the base where I scored and over the scored area of the bottom of the sidewall. And I like to rescore again. That's just my own superstitious issue. You're welcome to score again as well. So I like to do score, slip, score. I also made a mark indicating where my beveled cut should line up and where that right sidewall needs to sit in relation to the left sidewall. So you might need to make little notations for yourself as well. And I'm applying a little bit of pressure, but not too much. You don't want walls to collapse and flatten out. So just apply some pressure so the wall will bond to the base. So your sidewall will bond to your base wall, essentially. Now I'm lifting this up so you can see a good angle, but you should not be lifting up your tray at all. Keep it stationary on your tabletop at all times. I'm just doing this so you get a good camera angle. I'm making a mark here indicating that I still need to trim that sidewall. It's a little too long and hanging over the edge. I'm going to slice with my paper clip and just do a little karate chop of that area. So I'm pretty happy with that sidewall. I'm just examining the cut I just did. I'm examining the seams, and I like to go over that outer seam with some slip on my fingertips. You can even use your fingernail, use the back of your fingers and kind of drag your fingernail over the seam. That's like a quick little technique to kind of quickly erase a seam a little bit. Of course, later when this entire tray is built, I will do an official smoothing, an official makeover. This is just a quick, fast initial smoothing, but I'll do a final smoothing a week from now when when these walls have had time to set up and toughen up. Right now, these walls are too plastic to smooth, and smoothing while building is a bad idea. It actually stresses out the clay. So resist the temptation to go bananas smoothing. You can do just a basic, simple smoothing. Also, double check that you don't have sharp edges on your side walls. You might need to round those off a little bit at the last second. So this is looking pretty good, and now I'm ready to move on to the left side wall, and I'm scoring up that part of the base and getting that prepped and ready. A real silver metal fork works better than a plastic fork, but a plastic fork will get the job done too. You just might have to be a little more aggressive with that fork. So now I'm scoring up again the bottom of this side wall. I'm basically repeating what I did with the first side wall. Matchy matchy. Just make sure you're mindful of the ugly side being pointed inward. You want the pretty side of your side walls pointed outward and the ugly side pointed inward. And I'm lining up the bevel cuts at the top of the heart right now. And I'm double checking that the wall is long enough and not too short. And it's in fact a little too long and it needs a special cut at the bottom. I'm going to do a bevel cut at the bottom like I have a bevel cut at the top of the heart. And again, you might need to do bevel cuts or it may not suit your tray. That's kind of a case-by-case situation. So you have to make that decision if you want to do bevel cuts or not. So right now, I'm doing an angled bevel cut at both ends so they'll line up. And just remember, bevel cut requires, taking a cutting tool, whether it's a fettling knife or a paper clip, and you just hold the tool at an angle where you have a 30-degree angle obvious when you cut. So that's looking pretty good. So the two ends are starting to meet up. I am going to slip and score the two ends together just so they bond well. That's helpful. You don't have to do that in all cases, but if you feel like walls are going to separate, and I'm seeing that separation at the top of my heart, so I again have to slip and score in that location. So that's a case-by-case situation. You might have to make that judgment call and slip and score some areas, not only to your base, but to one another. It can't hurt it. It'll only help your project. It'll only fortify and strengthen your walls anyhow. I'm doing a little bit of smoothing with my fingertips, not much, because I realize that if I over smooth right now, it's going to stress out the walls. And remember, you got to finish building first before you even consider smoothing. And I'm not done building because in the next video, I'm going to show you how to add coils over all the seams you have. And I have quite a few seams. So it's a matter of covering up the seams and reinforcing the seams with coils. But right now I'm adding some watery slip over all seams, the outer seams, inner seams, again, just to ensure that my walls bond my side walls bond to the base wall. You can drag your fingernail over areas. This is like a quick, fast, dirty smoothing with better smoothing happening days from now when that clay is set up and can handle smoothing. So that's looking pretty good. I'm just double checking that walls aren't inverted, that they're not dented. I don't want my walls pointed inward at some weird angle. I want them straight up, pointed up towards the ceiling. So I'm just kind of doing a final double check of everything just to see that these walls, fit well, that my side walls fit properly on my base wall. Now I keep stressing out the top of that heart. It keeps wanting to come apart. That's because I'm holding up my tray. So please don't hold up your tray as I'm doing. Keep everything on your tabletop. That can also stress out the clay when it's up in the air moving too much. So next step, coils.